Anybody else want to share?
Share real quick. My birthday just passed, so my wife spoiled me, and my kids were a blessing. So it was kind of like this giant drop of blessings, like right throughout the last weekend. Didn't have to touch anything. I got the staff line, which was amazing. My wife, and I know Brandon, I shared the brief story of like how she, the day that she said, I want to do a business. And this ties into what you guys were saying, was like, I wanted to launch this business. So it was firing on all cylinders. And my wife could say no more, right? No more working with real estate and her family and all that drama. It was pretty crazy for her to be able to just step in for, even though her pop already had a machine going, they were killing it. But when she first day she ever saw like the plan I've laid out, the business plan and all the structure and all the, then she said, whew, yeah, that's all yours. That's cool for you, but I want to do my own thing. And then one day I said, I really could use your help. Just if you could just touch the coloring, right? I'm still not getting it right on. Color blindness is kicking in and I'm frustrated with it. So she jumps in there and she's like, yeah, just still tweak. So show me how to do this real quick. I'm sure. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, cool. Okay, cool. And she gets in there and she's like, oh, I love it. Can I do another one? And then she's like behind the camera and she's like, oh, this is so fun. How do you shoot again? And she was like, I'm going to cut my own videos. Boom. She was in for the rest of the until now. She's still rocking it. So I'm thankful. And she loves what she does. That's the key. She's part of the team, but she loves what she does. It's not just me operating. And then I send her onto, here's the project for today. She's like, boom, boom. She's ahead of me and she's loving it. So you guys get excited because I know that there's a future in store, especially if you have this vision laid out and it's clear. There's no vague, right? And I really, really, really want to encourage you. When the wife is on board, you know you're doing it right, and definitely bless her back. So like you said, Andreas, when you're keeping this mindset of, hey, how I got her is how I'm going to keep her, how I fire things up for this our future, and she's on board, it gets you more amped to be that man to keep after it, right? So I want to encourage you. And I'm sure Susan could tap into this, and Patricia, as women, let us know if we're way off.
Yeah, but my wife's a realtor as well. So it's like, yeah. Oh gosh, I used to be a mortgagist. And I'm like, oh no, thank God I don't have that deal with all those. Oh yeah, it's gonna close. That state doesn't close.
All right. Well, everybody in a good mental spot. We thought about what we're grateful for. We thought about why we're doing this. And this isn't just for the purpose of this call, right? We're on this call 1 hour a week. But we have just a constant barrage of negative, a constant barrage of negative thoughts, self-doubt, questions, just throughout the week, right? We don't exactly have crowds of people. You guys hear me? I'm having like all kinds of technical issues. Okay. Can you hear me, Andres? Yeah?
Okay. Very good.
Whatever. We're doing it live. That's how it goes. So, all right. Now, if you've been following along, I went to Funnel Hacking Live a few weeks ago with Brandon and Steve-O. Steve-O's not on the call. He's sleeping in. Funnel Hacking Live was a transformative experience, super mountaintop. My biggest takeaway from Funnel Hacking Live was, hey, if you want to start to get traction online, have people just experience a taste of the results that you can provide, right? So if your customer has something that keeps them up at night and you want to create an offer to serve that, right? So Scott, he helps couples who are disconnected, intimacy has been lost, maybe they're sleeping in separate beds, it feels cold. If they go through his program, they're going to have a white hot marriage, communication is going to be back. They're going to be on the same page with their finances, right? Intimacy is going to be back. There's going to be a playfulness, right? So it's a big transformation, right? And so to sell that result to a customer or a client who is feeling despondent, feeling totally disconnected from their spouse, it's a big stretch, right, Scott? Yeah. It's a big stretch. So how do we get them to the point where they're believing in their heart, yeah, I can experience this result, right? Now you can do that through the mind, through like a webinar. You could convince them logically, or you can do it a little bit through the mind and the heart. That's what a challenge is, where they can understand your strategy, but start to feel that result, feel that it's possible. Okay. So the idea with the challenge is just get them to taste and see, to try before they buy, to start to experience that result. So Scott wants to get that couple from cold, disconnected to connected and passionate, right? But that gap in between, that's what he's trying to sell. Like, it's possible, but it's a journey. Okay. So a challenge says, hey, this is possible, right? The results of challenges speak for themselves. Every big online marketer and small online marketer is doing challenges in one way, shape, or form. Right? 5-day challenge, 7-day, 30-day challenge. I've done 3 challenges myself, and they've all moved the needle in my life and business in their own way. So I came back from Funnel Hacking Live, and I'm like, we need to make a challenge, right? So what I've done is I've combined basically Russell Brunson's presentation format called the perfect webinar, and I broke it down into like a 5-day challenge build out. The goal is that as they go through the content that you set up for them, they're going to start to believe for themselves that the ultimate goal that you're selling in your offer is possible. Any questions, thoughts, feedbacks? With that in mind, we're going to go into actually building out our offer today. And yeah, hopefully you'll leave with something tangible by the end of this meeting. Scott, what are your thoughts on this?
I love it. Like, I don't know. It's cool how you just kind of walked us through the experience of what you're talking about, and then you said, "Here's what we're going to do." I know last night you were talking about when we talked. You were talking about what we don't want to do. Are you gonna tell that story again?
Yeah, that's when we actually break open the worksheet. I'm just going.
Okay.
We got Susan on the call, maybe some people who have missed a few weeks, and I'm just reminding us why we're here and how we got to this point.
Cool. Yeah, I'm tracking so far.
Yeah. Okay. So I dropped a link in the chat. If you don't have the worksheet and access to the course, I removed all barriers of cost. Normally, at this point in the mastermind game, the Wednesday calls are free, but all the resources and things on the members area are for members. But for people who are live on this call, I'm just going to open it up and give everyone access to it. My try before you buy method, so to speak. So if you click in the link, you'll see a link that goes to my course platform. If you are a member, just use your login to get access to that. If you're not a member, just request access for free with your email. And then in there, you will see a little link to a worksheet. So Scott, if you could open up your worksheet, and then we'll go off yours because my laptop is not working this morning, so I can't do a screen share.
We're doing the perfect challenge planner.
Yeah.
Okay. Share my screen.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, can you open up the link in the, can you sign into your Podia? Sign into my members area, because I updated the worksheet.
Oh, okay.
So view product. Yeah. So make a new copy. I added some new notes on the bus this morning, so the formatting will probably be interesting.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So at this point, now in that members area, you'll see all the call replays and all the workshops. So we're going over this on Wednesday morning and Monday afternoon. So if you missed anything, don't worry. I'm dropping the YouTube link to the call in that members area so you can catch up. And we're essentially just going down this worksheet sequentially to get the stuff built out in real time. And I've also assembled some funnel templates so you can drop those into your ClickFunnels account and have a really awesome challenge funnel ready to go. Okay. And if you need some help actually putting all the elements together at the end, you know, connecting the challenge to your email service provider, let me know and I can help you out with that. Anyway, so back to the worksheet. So by this point, we figured out who we're trying to serve. We figured out what pain points are bothering them. And the little notes I added, it's what keeps them up at night. So like what's really bothering them in relation to your niche. So if you do marketing, it really bothers them that they're not getting any leads, or they're getting leads, but they're not closing sales, or that they're making sales, but they're not charging enough, right? So like what is really bothering them? What is like a really clear pain point that you can speak to in a short period, okay? What desires do they have? What goals do they have, right? They're frustrated that they're struggling with sales, and their goals are they want to grow their business and maybe add another location, right? So the pain points and the goals kind of go together, and keep going down. Then we talked about what your framework is. Your framework is the repeatable process that you can help walk them through to get results. This is essentially your vehicle that will drive them to get the results they want. So if you've read Expert Secrets, Russell talks about the vehicle, and that's what takes people to the result that they want. So I gave this example. I typed this on the bus because I was talking to Scott yesterday and I thought it's applicable. Scott helps clients regain intimacy in the bedroom by simply getting them to touch. Touch is the vehicle, right? So vehicle and framework are related. His framework is the step-by-step strategy to re-implement touch into the relationship. Would you say that's accurate, Scott?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the vehicle, if you can just get couples to touch, maybe start holding hands, the rubbing of the arm, you know, putting the arm around the shoulder, the old movie theater trick, right? He can start to thaw the relationship and restore it back to order, right? If they can't touch, then things aren't going to work. Now, the strategy, the framework, okay, here's what you do. Step one, touch her, you know, she's super pissed at you. She won't look at you in the eye. You know, brush her hand as you walk by her in the kitchen and smile, right? That's step one. That's day one of the challenge, okay? Day two, you're going to try and do the old movie theater trick when you're watching Netflix at night, right? So the framework is like how you implement the vehicle, right? Any questions on that?
I've got a question on that.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So how do you do the framework without actually giving away the product or what you're supplying the person? Because I'm looking through, like, and I've got a course in process. And I'm going, okay, if I walk them through the framework, I'm basically walking them through the course.
I think we're all thinking that. That's great. Thank you, Patricia.
Okay. All right. So there's the strat. So when Russell teaches how to teach a framework, he has this thing. It's a 4-step thing. He calls it the framework to teach frameworks. Okay. And Brandon's saying, teach the what, not the how. So the strategy. All right. So I'll freestyle it here for Scott. So, hey, couples, if things have gone cold in the bedroom, intimacy has been lost. All right. Well, what you need to do is you need to touch each other. And I'm not just talking about in a sexual way. I'm just like, you need to like physically touch. Maybe it's a hand, shoulder, whatever. And that will start to move things in the right direction in your relationship. Okay. So the strategy could simply be, start by hand holding, then do the movie trick. And then day 3, you're going to try and look for an opportunity to brush her hair off her face. Right. So so that's like the strategy, right? That's very high level stuff. The how, the tactics, like that's the nitty gritty, right? So the how would be, when is the right time to try and touch her hand, right? What do you say beforehand, right? What do you do leading up to it, right? Let's say your wife like doesn't even let you in the same house. Let's say you're separated. Okay, how do you set up the situation to where you can even get close to your wife? You've been estranged for months, right? And you want to restore the relationship. So all the nitty gritty, the in-depth explanation that would require a course, would require a coaching program. That's what you're selling. Okay. So when Russell says teaching the framework to teach frameworks, and sorry if this is not extremely clear, you start with the backstory. How do you know this information? Why should we trust you? Then you go to the strategy, right? The backstory is Scott and his wife had a struggle, had a strained relationship. They had a mountaintop experience. They regained intimacy. And now through their journey, they're able to teach couples to do the same. The strategy is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Implement these things into your relationship. A weekly connection meeting, a weekly date night. Integrate touch into daily activities. Sensual and non-sensual, right? So that's the strategy. The how is what you sell. The how is your offer. The how would be, in Scott's example, okay, well, how do you do it? How do you organize a date night that's fun and exciting, right? So we're gonna have a 3-module course or coaching meetings where we're gonna go through 20 different date night ideas, okay? Or how do you restore trust in the relationship, right? Well, that's a 3-week series where we're talking about forgiveness, we're talking about communication techniques, et cetera, et cetera. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's
I think so. I think if I can just kind of put it in terms of what I'm working on and helps getting everybody else some clarity, is my course has 7 sections. So the framework would be basically the headlines of those sections, right? Here's how to, without giving the details of how it's done, like here's how to assess your risk tolerance, here's how to prepare yourself, here's how to build the spreadsheet so you run your numbers properly, here's how to manage what you buy, without giving the details. This is what it's, so the top, so that maybe like the headline for those chapters versus the actual chapters themselves, right?
Yeah. Think of the idea useful but helpful but incomplete.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I think
honestly, go ahead, Scott.
I think for me, and I don't know if this applies to everybody, but for me, what the epiphany was the experiencing a result, and the result people will experience is a sense of that goes from cold to at least warm. I feel those butterflies that I haven't felt in a long time. I feel closer. It doesn't feel like there's a ice cold wall between us anymore. All of a sudden, it's not so uncomfortable to have a conversation or to touch or to, talk about stuff. I can create that feeling without them understanding the nuance or, the technical hows. Like, obviously they're going to be like, oh, wow, all we freaking did was like do some touch exercises and now we feel this. But what I know is is complacency sets in. I mean, the reason that they got into that place in the first place, the coolness, was the little things that they weren't doing. And that's my package. My package sells a system that helps couples stay on track. And then they're going to learn all sorts of like technical how-tos, and they're going to really understand how to create it themselves. But I'm leading through the process where they don't really understand how to create it themselves. They just know that they felt it. I don't know if that helped at all.
Yeah, I would say basically just keeping it up. Either you're delivering a specific result that's a section of what you do, or you just stay really high level, and then it creates belief because they understand like they see it, they hear it, they're like, oh wow, this is powerful, and I don't know everything, and I could potentially piece it together if I'm really ambitious. Like for my challenge, I'll keep this really quick, Caleb. For my challenge, it's really like if you were like this crazy tech guy with a ton of time, you're going to be able to take this challenge and probably run with it. But if you're busy like most business owners and don't know the technology between it all, then you're probably just going to take me up on the offer. So anyways, that's my, to help Patricia, give some clarity, create some belief, but stay high level. Or you could just deliver a portion, which Scott is doing. He's giving a real specific deliverable, which is just the touch exercise, and then realizing that's creating belief and giving a result. So anyways, that's just my thought on it.
Yeah, and just one last thought on that. I think you could literally give everything away. You could literally give like 99% of your course away and sell the 1%. Just human nature. If there's something behind the veil, they'll buy it. If they really want that result and it's going to get them there faster with less hassle, et cetera, they're still going to buy it. Russell Brunson talks openly, and I saw other speakers talk about it at the conference. He's like, you can join my inner circle and pay me $50,000, and you know what I'm going to teach you? This book. We're going to go through this book, and I'm going to read it to you. We're going to discuss it. We're going to workshop it. It's literally this book. Or you could spend $10 and do it yourself, right? And so and the crazy thing is, all his inner circle programs are always full, right? Why? You just buy the book, buy the $10 book. People always want that extra touch. They want the access to the creator, the expert. They want the ability to reach out for consultation, and whatever tools and things that you bundle in your offer. And that's what we're going to break into. It just gets them there faster, right? So you can do this on your own, but if you join the inner circle, you're going to network with other people who have already done it. You're going to get teaching directly from the guru himself, and it's going to get you to the same result, albeit faster and maybe with a better end result. So that's it on that. So so scroll it down, Scott. So we've talked about what challenge delivery, like what's a little stepwise process to get there. But today, what I really want to hone in on for the next 15 minutes is, once we've identified what's keeping our clients up at night, what is the best way to serve them, right? So like Scott said, his program helps eliminate complacency, it restores intimacy, restores trust, communication, through all the ways he delivers it, through his courses, through his coaching, through his masterminds, et cetera, et cetera. So once you understand where they're at and where they need, you need to identify where you want to take them, okay? And a short story on this, someone in the mastermind, I helped launch a challenge kind of informally this last summer. And she put together a ton of great content, but she started with the content she wanted to teach, and she didn't begin with the end in mind. All right, so she basically taught a 5-day masterclass on what she's good at, what she's passionate about, which was really helpful and maybe even entertaining for her prospects. But I don't think she had any clear sales, because the content didn't lead to a specific goal, right? If you think of the offer as a certain destination on a map, right? The route to get there is your challenge, right? So her challenge, if you map your challenge route first, like where is this content going to lead us? It may bump into the offer, but it may not. Okay. And for her, the cautionary tale is it didn't. It didn't. And so I would hate for you to go through all this and not bring your people to the point where they're ready to buy. Okay. So we want to start with the end in mind, and then we're going to design a challenge around getting them there. Right. Does that make sense? Cool. All right. So if you have this worksheet, I want you guys just to take a few minutes, and I got to take a office call here. Start writing down where you, what is the best way you can serve your clients with what's keeping them up at night. All right. So let's take 5 minutes, start typing things in, then we'll discuss it.
Where are we at on the worksheet?
So go down, scroll down. So that's content. So the offer build is down below. There you go. So it talks about elements of an offer, right? Go up. There you go. So core offer. What's the main thing you're going to sell? Is it a coaching program? Is it a course? Is it a what?
Okay.
Be right back.
Anybody want to share?
I'll start. I guess I'd like some help on some of the stuff I'm working on. So, and Susan knows this, but my world is sales training for this particular one. And the challenge that I have is getting people sort of to come into and commit to this annualized program I have, because we believe that nothing, you know, everybody knows this, you don't get behavior change out of a boot camp. But a lot of people just sort of want to like, I just want to learn a couple tips and tricks. So what I've got is access to this amazing set of tools that runs everything from learning this basic system on the negotiations to customer service, management, enterprise, things like that. That my offer, I'm thinking, is to get people in for a set cost. It's like a fraction of what I would normally charge everybody. So I can, my goal is to build a group of people who are dedicated to coming, 10, 15, maybe even 20 people. For me, that's beneficial, because then it builds my resume. It builds people who are like going to be out there and refer. Plus, it doesn't cost, you know, it costs me only my time, and it's a great way to do that. So I'm thinking my challenge would be right to offer, or at least this core offer is this, you know, access to this Sandler Mastermind annual membership, right? And it includes a weekly teaching call. It's very similar to yours, Caleb, right? We have you know, on weekly account coaching. You can learn the system, you can get certified in it, and then you get to connect with other, you know, high performing, you know, salespeople or sales professionals.
That's great, because what they need is that weekly check-in, right? That's what is really going to serve them.
Yeah, that's the power of the reinforcement, right?
Mm-hmm. And what challenge is the kind of the bridge to that builds the belief that, man, I really need this?
That's a good question. I'm struggling with that one.
Any thoughts on what Jeff might be able to offer in terms of a challenge to bring them to that offer?
Well, I like the offer. And I'm just kind of from my own epiphany of what I'm doing, which I think is a similar offer. I have a similar offer, Jeff. I'm selling that annual membership and throwing in a whole bunch of bonuses for, you know, doing the year. So if I were to experience like being frustrated and not having any luck and being burnt out on sales, and in my challenge week with you, I experienced some sales or even progress. Like I'm finally like having people return my call. I'm finally you know, overcoming objections that I wasn't before. Like any taste of any of that, I think I'd be sold.
So maybe like you're saying, like do like a week long, like a 5-day challenge of overcoming teach you to overcome objections in 5 days. I give you the framework and the tools to do that, and then you think that there's enough there to.
Well, I think what I've learned through this process that Caleb's taking us through is it's not about I don't need you to teach me. I just need to experience it. Like obviously you probably have to do some teaching for me to get there, but if you can get me to a place where I have experienced overcoming the objections, or somebody returned my call, or, you know, I don't care if you taught me or not. If that happened, I'm in, like sold.
And question is then are we saying that the challenge is the precursor to the offer? Like finish the challenge, you can have the offer. No.
I've got an idea for you. So I think it would be fairly easy and simple to coach people through stuff that gets them out there and gets them a little more courageous. Like when I went from being a production person that grew up in a family of salespeople, so I always felt I wasn't good at sales because the rest of my family could seem to be rainmakers, and that wasn't my style. I had to learn my own style, and I had to do it the hard way, which was I had to just go out there and experiment. And so I just started going to network meetings, and I would come away with the accomplishment of, if I just got one person to really engage with me and tell me what they wanted, that was a win, right? And I eventually moved my way up to being a facilitator, being the president, being the vice president, being the chair of education, or whatever. And it just increased my confidence. So maybe your challenge could be getting people to go out and pick these networking events, which are free or moderately inexpensive, and just coming away with kind of like a boots on the ground field exercise for get one person to talk to you, maybe.
And you're saying that, yeah, that's really good. Like maybe even have people define, hey, what's the one, because like everybody's a little bit different, right? Some people want to go to networking, some people hate networking. So what's the one win? Maybe some people don't mind picking up the phone, making cold calls, or they think that's the best thing. Like maybe that's the thing. Like you define your thing. Is it one person on the phone? Is it one person to talk to at a networking event? Whatever. Now we're talking prospecting, right? And that's not everybody's problem. So we have to figure out sort of how to define that.
The sales for me is more confidence and comfort.
Yeah.
And starting it, and networking events are they're a very safe environment to start a conversation, because that's what everybody is there to do. So it's great to practice. And even if you fail, nobody cares, right? Because they're all there kind of doing the same thing. And that's how I grew my sales confidence, was just, because like I said, other people are doing the same thing. So that's just, like I say, it's an easy thing to challenge them to do. Go to 5 or 3 networking events in 1 week, or and a lot of them are online now even.
Yeah.
Right. So you don't even have to like venture out of your house. You can do it in your pajama bottoms.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Good. Thank you.
Yeah. So Jeff, and since you and I are in the same world, I think the key is, we need to really be very, very clear about our target. Because I think sometimes in our world, we're just like trying to throw out a big net and capture. And, think about several different challenges that actually I've seen work, not even structured, probably correctly like this. They're mostly around prospecting. One of them that, one of our peers does, and it's off of one of his boot camps. The challenge is, before you come back the next day, the first person that makes, I can't remember what it is. Actually, the first person that gets like 10 no's gets the prize. Right. So, that one, you can't like just throw that out as the hook. I think, you have to have the coaching call, kind of set it up. But then that, can be the challenge, or, at least one of the challenges. But I think we just need to get very, very clear on setting a challenge for a very specific persona, for a very specific pain point. Then do another one for a little bit different, like maybe the first one's for salespeople around prospecting, or around negotiating, or around networking. The next one can be for sales managers, or even for company leadership around accountability, or hiring, or whatever their specific pain point is.
Yeah, that's great. You're absolutely right. So it's always so hard, right? We're telling those stories, right? So so hard to like pick that thing we're going to go after. It's like, well, I'm going to help everybody. Yeah,
right,
for sure.
Right.
I like that idea.
You can help everybody, but just not all at the same time.
Right.
That's just
right.
That's exactly right.
I was just telling Caleb about, he's talking about a leash, and we were talking about how there's an objection that you might be able to try to handle with a bonus, so to speak, but instead of handling the bonus.
Hold on. So the backstory is, my neighbor custom manufactures these really awesome bungee leashes, right? And they're not sold online. They're not sold on Amazon. And everybody on our block uses them because they're awesome leashes. And I said, hey, Brandon, we need to put this in a funnel and blow it up to the moon. Go ahead, answer the story.
Yeah. And then I would just like, bungee, what if the dog it's a bungee cord, so it stretches, it's like an interesting concept, right? But I was like, what if your dog is like kind of a wily dog and runs in the street and gets run over, basically, because then you can't actually pull the leash to save a life, basically. And then it was either handle that objection or focus on the right ideal client that can actually benefit from your bungee cord. So it's not the person with the crazy dog that we're actually looking for. So basically, with all that to say, is like, who is it that can benefit from your deliverable the most, and almost immediately, like without a shadow of a doubt. And there's millions of those people. It's hard. I have to reel myself back in all the time. Who's the person that would benefit from what I do? Like only sell to that person. And then later we can broaden the markets. And there's actually ways to do that in messaging. I was just meeting with Javier one of our buddies, and he's talking about how, yeah, you start with this messaging and then you can open up, you can broaden the targeting through, I can't remember exactly, but there's a way that you do it in messaging that you can go to stage 2, which is a broader market. So start with like, who is it that you know without a shadow of a doubt, they're already, and where are they at in their journey? They have to be at a point where they're stuck, but they're committed. And if you just give them a little push, you're gonna blow up. And that's the person that you wanna focus on. And then once you make your challenge about that person, then it's more specific and more impactful, cuts through the noise more because it's speaking to them. So anyways, that's it.
I love this method of starting with the end in mind and developing that offer, because what I'm realizing as Jeff was talking, I mean, there's like, okay, so for this touch challenge, like touch is one small part of the offer. The offer covers everything. You're going to learn how to communicate. You're going to learn how to work out conflict. You're going to learn all of these things. You're going to learn how to work together financially in the year. But I'm selling one little element, like, let's just get you touching. What I realized is the same offer stack can have multiple challenges, and you don't have to have the perfect challenge. Like the touch one might work, it might not, but if it doesn't, I can just easily reproduce this process of the worksheet and do one for financial intimacy, or I could do one for conflict resolution. Like, oh, you guys are fighting here, take this challenge, you'll be done fighting. And so, but it's the same offer stack no matter what. And I got that when I was listening to you, Jeff. Like you could do a networking one, you could do a prospecting one, you can do a move your sales, you can do overcoming objection. It's the same offer stack no matter what, but you could have like a rotation of different, simple challenges. I think in some ways we're making the challenge. Caleb, you're shaking your head. Am I wrong?
No, I'm just like, this is gold. Keep talking, please.
Okay. So I think in some ways, we're over complicating the challenge. Like the challenge, it's just like, I don't know, like I bet after we do this, if we get through this learning curve and this process, we can whip challenges out in like a day, right? Once we figure this out, and we'll just like, every time we have an idea for the offer stack, we'll just be like, oh, I just need to help people, get over a conflict in a challenge, and then they'll want this whole year package. But it's that Costco sample. Like I experience the taste, the sensation, the senses. I experience it. I don't know how to make it yet. I just know I want more of it. Now, after I've tasted and I like it, now show me what are the instructions to make that little food or whatever. I don't know.
There you go. That was awesome, Scott. Absolutely. I just want to also add 2 aspects of agitating that problem too. So think about your steps, Jeff, even from the beginning of your journey to become, the expert you are now, because you want to continue to bring that expert. Hey, here's the story behind it. Agitate the problem too while you're going through this process of helping them taste those little tasters, right? And even if it's going through a story of history or bringing some statistics in or taking them through that process of understanding, hey, like the example of one of our clients was like, did you know that like in the North America area, 82% of the salespeople don't feel comfortable with the traditional way of selling, talking about the old way, and then here's the new way, right? Dropping in one nugget of a new way that changes their mindset. The mindset shift is what's going to alter that. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. He knows something I don't. I need to pay attention. There's the attention grabber. And then you take him through that next step, right? One at a time. Hope that helps.
That's good. All right. I'm going to incentivize you. We're in fall. We're going into winter. We're going into Christmas time. Okay. Future pacing will be there. Blink of an eye. We'll be there. Your challenge in this challenge is to have your offer. Just go through the worksheet. It's all self-explanatory. I think the main takeaway of this call for me is crystal clarity on who you're trying to serve, what's a pain point, what's the best way you can serve them to get them through that pain point. That's your offer, right? We're going to reverse engineer the challenge. So it's not, like Scott said, we can just pick one element of the offer stack that we can kind of highlight in the challenge. But right now, these next 2 days, Wednesday, Thursday, by Friday, post a link to your Google document with your offer filled out. Okay. Can I get an I if you're going to commit to do that? I. Yes. Let's hear some noises.
Aye, Captain.
Aye. All right. Okay. So by Friday, you have 2 days, day and a half. The people, are you ready for this, Scott? Scott, I'm speaking to you because that's who I see in my tiny little phone because my laptop crapped out. The people who complete that, you will be automatically entered to win a mini challenge, a mini prize of my favorite Santa mug.
Nice.
Now, this Santa mug is a custom hand glazed, made in China mug. You can impress all your friends in the office as you sip coffee from Santa's belly, right? Who doesn't want this? I mean, Andres, you want this, don't you?
Come on, give it to me.
I will ship this to Florida in the cheapest freight possible because I don't want to pay a lot of money to ship it to you, but I will ship it to you if you are randomly chosen from the people who complete their offer stack by Friday, by 23:59, by midnight on Friday, going into Saturday. Post your link in the WhatsApp challenge, my mini challenge, to get you guys to finish your challenge. And then, man, there's going to be way more value dropped in the coming weeks. So be sure to tune in.
We could have that on a landing page too. The worksheet's minimum viable, right?
What do you mean?
Like,
yeah.
You said we should show it on a worksheet, but if it's on a landing page or a PowerPoint or whatever, that's cool too, right?
Yeah, just prove that you have your offer laid out. That's all I'm trying to say. Okay, and then you could win this. Very nice.
Does it come with coffee stains in there?
No, it smells clean. I actually washed that one, but I've had that one for a while, so you're getting an heirloom there. So we have time for two. We have time for 2 takeaways, and then we'll wrap it up. So, who's feeling good? Who wants to share their takeaway from today?
I will share.
Please.
I will share. Getting clear. Oh man, I wrote it down here too. It was so good. Because it's okay if we're not going to serve everybody, right? It's going to be like certain people that we're going to serve. Like, I love the whole bungee jump, like, hey, bungee cord thing. I think that's a great idea, by the way. As a pain, it's like have a little dog, and that I'm the customer, and I hate retracting and bringing back. Oh gosh, but that's a great. It's not going to be for everybody. It's okay. It's okay if it's not for everybody, because it's just a start. So that's my big takeaway.
Awesome. One more. Close this out strong.
So I was thinking earlier, here's a great takeaway. If you guys haven't read this book, you need to go get it right now. If you have read it, then you know what I'm talking about. And so much, it's like, this is like Cialdini wrote down, or wrote this book like in the 90s or something, about how people make decisions fundamentally, right? And so what we were talking about is we're talking about a combination here of things like, reciprocity. I'm going to give you something. I'm going to give you a win, and therefore you will be more likely to engage with me. And there's authority. I know what I'm doing. Like, these are things that we can't help, but be influenced by in our decisions, right? So my takeaway is, like, dig back into that book. If you don't know it, definitely do it. It is seminal. It's a gold standard for anybody who's in marketing.
I took a screen
here. I'll put it in the WhatsApp. I'll put the link to the book in the WhatsApp. It's called the Influence, the Psychology of Persuasion. I'll stick it in the WhatsApp.
Oh, Brandon's showing off. He's got it in the Audible.
I just bought it, and I'm waiting to start it. It's a big one. So
I recommend get through it, but buy the books so you can make notes and stuff, because there's all these places where you're like, oh, that's helpful for me in marketing, where I find in the audio, right, you listen to it, you might bookmark it, but you never go back to it, right?
I do this interesting thing where I go through Audibles and I have Google Docs out the entire time, and I smash down the notes every time a gold nugget comes out. So it's kind of the equivalent of that, but I've heard that when you have the physical book and the audiobook, I've heard people do both at the same time for maximum retention.
I've done that. So
Yeah.
good.
That
So
was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are out of
Whoever-
time.
I'll probably
We
do
are
that.
out of time.
Yeah, we gotta
we'll
go.
talk about, we'll talk about learning hacks another time. Just for people who are struggling, it's okay. It's totally okay. This is a lot. Scott is offering a little mini workshop tomorrow. I won't be on the call, but Scott will be running that call just to help you through the offer, through clarity. Scott will drop some times in the WhatsApp group. Of course, I'm available one-on-one to help you individually. My time is limited right now, so I'll do my best to accommodate you. But if you're struggling, please jump on that call with Scott. And Susan, so great to have you on this call. This is great. I don't know. I had a great morning. If you didn't have a great morning, I'm sorry, but appreciate you guys. And we'll talk soon, okay? So Friday.
Thanks, Caleb. Yes,
the
please lay out
See you,
the homework somewhere, because I don't know. I'm not clear on it, but I just know it's an offer.
Check the WhatsApp, okay?
Okay,
Appreciate you
WhatsApp.
guys.
Scott, thank
See
you